Hi, and welcome to Coffee with Claire. Do you have a secret dream? Do you have a dream that somebody talked you out of because maybe they were afraid of you being successful? Well, I invite you to step out of that and allow yourself to live boldly. Live boldly, live loudly, live proudly. If I would have stood in the sidelines and ignored the dream that I had inside of me, I would never have been able to get where I am today, which is having my own TV show. I've been able to be a radio announcer. I have fulfilled a dream of being an author. And those are things that there was a lot of people around me that said, Claire, you can't do that. You know, who do you think you are being an author? What do you have to say? Or even in improv, you know, are you funny? Say something funny. It's not like that. It's all about what you believe inside. And so following your dream is actually going to live your life much more authentically. So my challenge for you today is to write down those dreams. Or maybe you've written a list earlier on that you kind of forgot about. Pull that list out and see, where am I with my dream and how can I achieve it? As you know, each week we have entrepreneurs, people who give back to the community, and people who like to have fun. And so today we have Michael Peticolas. And Michael is, as you can see, a craft brewer here in Dallas, Texas. And he's done a few other things before getting into this industry. So welcome, Michael.
Thanks for having me. I'm
You
excited
bet.
about this. This is great.
So are we. So tell the audience a little bit about what you did prior to getting involved in craft beer.
Yeah, sure. Gosh, back in 1998, I graduated from law school and spent the next decade practicing law, primarily wrongful death litigation. I opened up my own law firm in 2005. Love the practice of law. It's kind of in our bloodlines. I'm a fifth-generation Texas trial attorney.
Wow.
But I came across this list that I put together before I went to law school. What are my goals? What do I want to accomplish in the legal industry? And so in 2010, when I yanked out this list, I kind of started going down the list and crossing everything out, and I realized, shoot, I've done everything that I wanted to do in the industry. So at that point, I was kind of looking for something else to do, and I've got a couple passions in life, beer and soccer, and so I decided to make a passion my job.
Awesome. And, you know, I think a lot of entrepreneurs, when they make their passion their job, it doesn't really feel like a job.
Absolutely.
You feel like that every day you're excited about coming to work, and you get to invent something new and try different things because there's nobody else to tell you no.
For sure. I will never forget the early days driving into work, and it would be 3:30, 4 in the morning. And I'm literally driving with a smile on my face, thinking, man, I'm going to brew beer today. You know, what better job could I possibly have? So, yeah, I absolutely love it. Work is always work, but when you're doing what you love, it makes it so much easier.
Absolutely.
So much easier. And I absolutely do love what I do. It's a ball.
And your family is very involved in your business, and in fact, they're very involved in even the logo that you have on your beer.
Yeah, absolutely. We're a little unlike, or we're probably very much unlike most breweries that you find out there. And one of the main differences is what you're referring to, kind of the family connection. We don't owe a penny to a bank, and we do not have a single investor. This brewery literally is 100% for the first year operated by myself. But I do consider this a family operation. I consider there to be 5 owners, me, my wife, my 11-year-old daughter, and my twin 9-year-olds. And that's actually, yes, when you're referring to the branding, you look at this, there's a little 2010 Pentagon on our logo.
Oh, yeah, right there.
That we tried to put a lot about who we are and what we do in the logo without being overt about it. So you'll see this little 2010 in the logo. The 2010 is the year I wrote the business plan for the brewery.
Okay.
But the 2 also represents me and my wife. The 1 is my firstborn daughter, and each 0 is each twin. So I tried to put all the members of our family in here, and then it's flanked inside this Pentagon, again, because there's 5 owners of the brewery. as well as a nod to our love of soccer. If you think of a traditional soccer ball, that black pentagon.
Oh, right,
So we wanted to use that, for both of those reasons. And with that note, I'm going to go ahead and pour a little bit of this beer, if that's all right with you.
Well, tell us.
I'm thirsty.
Okay, let's go for it. So tell us a little bit about this beer. What does it say? Alfred Brown, right on sit down or I'll sit you down.
Yeah, well, there's a lot, Velvet Hammer, Great Scott, Royal Scandal. This thing, we've got a lot of our names scrolling around this glass bottle called a growler. But what we have inside of this growler is actually called Wintervention. This is a beer we just released.
Wintervention,
Right.
That's cute.
We released this beer for winter specifically.
Thank you.
And it's brewed, we walk right down the street from the brewery to Pendry's, a little spice manufacturer, and buy ginger, cinnamon, allspice, and nutmeg, and we use that for the aroma in this beer. So this beer, it's a dark, strong spice ale that really has the characteristics of the holidays. So I hope you enjoy a little with me throughout
I'm sure
this,
I will.
Interview here.
So all of these spices are inside your beer. How do you make up the recipes? I mean, do you just like trial and error, or do you find recipes online? I mean, how do you do this?
It's a good question. When I made the jump from the legal profession to professional brewing, I was already brewing in the backyard. I would do little 5-gallon batches in my backyard, and so I was enjoying that expression of freedom and recipe development at that time. But when it came time to scale up from 5 gallons to 500 gallons, I'm a big believer in education, and I enrolled at the American Brewers Guild. Took their intensive brewing science and engineering course so that I could learn how to scale up these batches of beer as well as recipe development, right? I like to be able to write my own recipes, and so there's only 4 ingredients in beer typically. This one has 5 because of the spices. Typically beer is just water, hops, yeast, and malted barley. This one has the spices in addition to it. But yes, recipe formulation, that's half the fun. I mean, that's why I do this.
Well, I want to try this.
Here, cheers.
All right, cheers, yes.
Have a quick drink of that. Let me know what you think. Smell that.
Smell it first. It's like wine. You have to smell it first?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Smelling a beverage is every bit as important
in.
as tasting it. I mean, smell is a huge part of what you're tasting.
Well, it does.
And I always tell people you have to pour it into a curved glass as well, just like wine.
Good.
When you refer to wine and say, hey, is it like wine? I would say absolutely. If someone hands me a bottle, I'm always saying, hey, I need to pour that thing into a glass. Do you have a glass? Because you want to release some of those flavors, some of those aromas in that beer so that you're getting the best possible version of what that beer should be.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, and I've noticed that different beers have different shaped glasses too. So does that help with the taste, or is that just marketing?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I always say a beer should be in a rounded, in a curved glass is, I guess, the word I'm actually looking for, just like wine. Typically it's in this nice bulbous glass. I prefer my beer in the same. In fact, I'll go places, and if they say, "Oh, I don't have a glass," I'm like, "Well, give me a wine glass," because it's basically directing all that aroma out and then upward through a smaller area, right? So you're getting a little bit of a better experience. Try it. Start drinking all your beer in a curved glass.
Yes, sir. No, try it now. Well, I'm amazed at how quickly you've been able to build your business. So I know that you're a big lifelong learner, and you've taken classes to learn how to brew beer. Did you also go through any kind of classes to learn how to be a business person, or was that part of the experience? And
the answer is yes, but only more recently. When I actually say that brew school is a little bit like law school. You go to law school and they teach you legal theory. They really don't teach you how to be a lawyer or how to practice law or how to run a law firm. Brew school is the same thing. You learn brew theory, but you don't really know, you don't get the practical application. So fortunately I had some friends that allowed me to get that practical application, but I spent the first 40 plus years of my life on personal development. I like to go camping. I like to ride skateboards. I like to play soccer. I like to fish. I like to do all these things that developed me personally. And then I realized I took a course. I got invited to take a course that was offered by the Goldman Sachs program. It's called 10,000 Small Businesses. And so in January of last year, I actually sat down. I was accepted to the course and sat down in this big room, and I'm at a table with all these other entrepreneurs on day one, and there's a guy who does IT, there's a SOC subscription service provider, all these people, and I'm thinking, well, I don't have anything in common with these guys. What the hell am I even doing here? But over the course of, 4 months, what I learned was the peer learning. We all have businesses, right? And we're all facing the same issues, whether it's negotiation or human resources, mission development, vision development, financials, strategy. I started to realize over the course of that program that, man, I really need to start putting a little bit of emphasis on professional development. So since that time, I would say that course was somewhat of a life-changing experience for me to get me really kind of focused on the operations of a business as a whole.
And so what was the big nugget that you took away from that? I mean, if there was one thing that was kind of like business changing.
Probably openness.
Okay.
I'm a very private person, and it was interesting, on day 3 or 4, they're saying, yeah, put up your financials all across the room, and you're letting everybody see it, and I never would have done this, but once I went through the process of being open with these people and having other entrepreneurs be open to me, you really grow, and that's when the learning really started to take place, and you started to recognize, oh, hey, these are what these guys are going through. So now I'll sit down with other people, and I'm a member of EO now, the Entrepreneurs Organization, to kind of continue this learning that I started a year ago. But it's that openness, the willing to share and the willing to learn from others that really is what, was the one big takeaway.
So, just because you're an entrepreneur doesn't mean that you have to be a solopreneur all by yourself. You can enlist the help of others because everyone thinks a little bit differently, and when you're getting different ideas and you have an opportunity to just like look through a different filter and say, oh, I hadn't even thought of it that way.
Absolutely. That's exactly it. I mean, I don't have a board of directors. I built the thing. I worked there by myself for a year, where there's only 10 of us still to this day. So it's nice to have a sounding board of other entrepreneurs that you can discuss, your various issues with.
Yeah. So you're really involved in the community. And I think you mentioned before you got on the show you had 12 events in the last 13 days or something like that.
Yeah, we just finished what is the busiest week for us brewers here locally, which is called North Texas Beer Week. And they call it Beer Week, but it's actually 10 days. It kind of starts on a Friday and then goes all the way through the following Sunday. Right, a beer, yeah, exactly. So over the course of the last 10 days, I was probably at 12 different events, from Fort Worth to, right down the street from where we're standing here today, or sitting here today in the Design District. Absolutely a huge part of it, getting out and connecting with these people.
And you've also connected with a lot of different businesses that carry your beer. And so has it been kind of tough to go out and say, hey, I've got this brand new beer, will you try it? Or do people, are they pretty open when you have something new?
The market's changed.
Okay.
I'm going to celebrate my 5-year anniversary this year. On day 1, I could walk into an account and say, hey, I'm opening up a microbrewery, or I have opened up a craft brewery, and I've got a product that is being made, just blocks away, just 5 miles away from your location. And it was pretty much an easy sell. The beer was selling itself. When I opened, there were only 4 craft breweries in all of North Texas.
Wow.
Fast forward to today, and we've got about 40, 45.
40?
40,
Dang.
right. So there's been some explosive growth in our industry, especially here locally. So what worked then definitely doesn't work now, because it was easy to say, hey, you want to serve something in your establishment that is brewed, just a few miles down the street, but there's a limited number of taps. And so when they have 40 different representatives coming in and selling them the same story, it doesn't really work. When there's only 1 or 2 of you, it's going to work. When there's 40, you've got to have a little bit more substance to it.
So how have you changed that marketing model? Or is it because everyone knows you now that it kind of sells itself?
Well, timing's definitely part of it. I mean, being one of the first breweries around and actually experiencing some success locally and, winning some awards kind of put us on the map as producing a world-class beer. So early on, that's what worked, but you definitely have to change things. And in fact, I'm changing things constantly right now. For 5 years, the only way you got our beer is if you called us up. Literally, you had to call us. We didn't do any marketing, any sales. And it wasn't until earlier this year that I'm like, we should start doing what every other business in the United States does. We should actually sell our product, send a rep out there and try it. Well, how can you come up with that? So, right, we're doing that. But we do a few things to try to keep us a little bit different and unique from other guys. For instance, I'm pouring this beer from this growler today. One of the reasons is because I don't can my beer. My beer is only available on draft, right? In local restaurants and bars, and that alone does give us a competitive advantage at the tap, right? Because I can go in there and say, oh, well, hey, I see you have this beer offered. You could also offer that beer in a bottle, but you could put our beer on, and now you can have both.
Interesting. And so the only way that I could take your beer home is to buy a growler.
As it sits today, yes, but maybe there will be some changes in the law in the next legislative session that would allow us to do that. But there are a few grocery stores, your Whole Foods, your Central Market, there's a Lakewood growler, Craft Inn growler, Lone Star Taps and Caps. You can purchase it there, and yes, bring it home. That's pretty much the only way you're going to get our beer at your house.
Okay. And do you guys have like brewery tours, or how do people get to experience this in a little bit more intimate setting?
Well, that's another thing that we don't do like most other breweries. Most brewers are going to be open, you know, they have a tap room that's open every day of the week, or, you know, Thursday to Sunday, and they typically will offer a tour on Saturdays. Well, our model, as I mentioned, when I started on day one, it's all about connecting for me. I don't really consider it the beer industry. I think it's the entertainment industry. I think people drink because they want to be entertained. They want to have a good time. And so a big part of our thought early on was during these tours, I'm going to be there. My wife's going to be there. Our kids are even there, you know. It's because we wanted people to meet us and to interact with us. And we can tell our story so much better than anybody else can. So as a result of that, we were only open and are only open 4 hours a month. We're open on the first and third Saturdays from 1 to 3, and that is it. So as a result of that, you know, we have 300-400 people, you know, standing in a big long line out in front of our brewery every first and third Saturday, which is great, and that's what we've done for 5 years. But, you know, as I grow and as my 5-year anniversary comes around, I do start to think, maybe we should try a little something else if we want to grow revenue.
Sure. Well, I have really learned a lot about the beer industry and about you, and I would like to say thank you for being here. How do people get a hold of you? How can they call you up and order beer? Oh, yes.
Yeah, we got to have a drink after you. Cheers. We don't want to have.
I know. I don't want to.
Very easy. We're easy to get a hold of. Peticolasbrewing.com.
Okay.
You go there. There's a contact. All of our emails are actually on that website still. I know people say don't ever put your email on a website, you're going to get all kinds of spam. But I want people to be able to contact us, so it's very easy. Go there, you can email any individual at the brewery or go to the contact page, send your question, and you're going to get a response that day. And
you know what? It's really true, because Michael and I met via Twitter. And he actually returned a tweet, and from there we were able to set up a meeting, and he agreed to be on the show. So, you know, leverage social media, folks. It really does work when you use it.
Oh, it's a
Thank you for paying attention to it.
It's a huge part of it. I mean, it goes right back to that connection. If someone's going to take the time to flag me and ask a question, you're going to get a response. We're going to talk to you. You know, Twitter works. In our early days, I've tweeted a picture of a truck full of kegs saying, hey, is there anyone out there who wants a keg? And I had a couple of new customers that day say, bring us some beer. So social media works for sure.
Awesome.
And I appreciate you having me. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time.
You bet.
In this series, we'll be learning about laughter yoga and the benefits of deep belly laughter that simulates the deep breathing when practicing yoga. It was developed in 1995 by Dr. Madan Kataria, a medical doctor in Dubai, India. Dr. Kataria discovered many modern scientific studies that described at length the proven benefits of laughter on the human mind and body. Ha, ha, ha. Ho. What laughter yoga is, it's all about bringing laughter to your body to help you breathe like yoga poses do. And so deep breathing has a lot of benefits, all right? Number one, of course, it gives us more oxygen in all of our cells. Number two, it releases endorphins. Does everyone know what endorphins are? What are endorphins? They make you feel good. And there's also a lot of psychological benefits of laughter yoga, because it allows you to release any kind of stress, which is really helpful in our really busy lifestyles. As you know, everybody's got 1,000,001 things going on, and so it's kind of nice just to get out of your head and into your heart. Laughter yoga is a unique concept where anyone can laugh for no reason without relying on humor, jokes, or comedy. Deep breath in. The concept of laughter yoga is based on scientific fact that the body cannot differentiate between fake and real laughter if done with willingness. One gets the same psychological and physiological benefits. The reason we call it laughter yoga, it is because it combines laughter exercises with yoga breathing. This brings more oxygen to the body and the brain, which makes you feel more energized and healthy. We initiate laughter as an exercise in a group, but with eye contact and childlike playfulness, it soon turns into real, contagious laughter. So as you know, we've been doing a lot with laughter yoga, and today Michael is going to help demonstrate one of the laughter yoga techniques. Just as a review, laughter yoga is all about breathing from your diaphragm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know where this was going.
Yeah,
okay,
we're not-
all right.
It's not about having to do any stretching
Oh,
or anything
already-
like that.
all right,
Well, if you want to, that's great.
Do a little downward dog?
Okay, awesome. I'm impressed already.
Hey.
All right, so we're gonna. So what we do is we fake laughter until we make laughter, because our bodies don't know the difference between fake laughter and real laughter, and it actually bypasses the judgment that's in your brain saying, "Is that funny or not?" So we are just going to pretend. We're going to give our ego a short vacation. So say bye, bye,
Okay,
ego.
okay. So in other words, you're going to make me look goofy, and I'm going to just allow that.
I can't make you do anything.
You're going to suggest.
However,
okay, I get it.
we are going to play like we're 5-year-olds, and so we're just going to like pretend that we're not grown-ups anymore for just a minute.
All right,
Then
all
we'll get back into
I'm
our
gonna
bad
trust
selves.
you. I'm gonna trust you.
All right. So let's paint a picture. We're at a picnic, right? Okay. And so at a picnic, you've got a picnic basket, right?
Sure.
So let's show the audience what our picnic basket looks like. Okay. So if you bend over and pick up your picnic basket, is it heavy?
Oh, yeah.
Yours is really heavy.
Yeah,
okay.
I take a lot
All
to
right.
the picnic.
All right. So we've got our heavy picnic basket, and we're going to set it down.
All right.
And we don't want to break anything.
Nope.
And we open it up, and what do we find inside our picnic basket?
All right, we've got beer.
Of course, I would be really sad if we didn't have your beer
We've
here.
got
Okay.
a little more beer.
Oh, a little bit more beer? Oh my gosh.
We've got some breads,
Bread. Oh, I love bread.
cheeses,
Cheeses. Oh my gosh.
meats,
Wow, I'm sitting on your
a couple
blanket.
of glasses,
Okay.
one more glass, and 2 more beers.
Wow,
And
how many people are
What's
coming
that?
to our picnic?
Well, it's just the 2 of us, but
Oh.
we need 6 beers, right?
We've got
I mean,
3 each.
We're getting right.
I can do
Oh,
that
God,
math.
I'm stepping on my stuff.
It's okay. We'll just pretend that it
Okay,
didn't get
it's
squished.
up here now.
Yes, it's up here now. All right, so here we are. We're at our picnic, and we're having the best time ever. But guess what?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Tragedy. We have put our blanket right on top of a big old anthill. And so we have got ants crawling up our legs, but instead of screaming, we are going to laugh hysterically.
What?
Yes, we're going to laugh
Okay,
hysterically.
all right.
All right. So
I don't find this funny, but all right.
that's exactly right.
Okay.
That's it. Good
All
job.
right, that's it. We're done. All right. Yes.
Good job, Michael.
Yoga laughter.
Laughter, yes,
All
laughter
right.
yoga. So we are all so busy. How do you balance fun with responsibility at work?
One of the things that I practice on a daily basis is doing my attitude of gratitude. So I have a bookmark, a bookend in the beginning where I think of the things that I'm thankful for, grateful for, and I rehearse those, and it's about 4 or 5 every morning. And then before I go to bed, I make sure that I remember the things that I did in the morning, and I'm grateful for them in the evening. So it basically bookmarks them and allows my brain not to be overloaded with the stress and the pressures that we have on a daily basis.
So, do you have fun owning your own business?
I love owning my own business. As far as the fun part, it's passion. I have energy. I'm engaged. We get to help people. It's fantastic.
So, what are some of the specific fun things or aspects about owning your own business?
One of the aspects of owning my own business, especially with coaching and the consulting, is seeing people succeed. And when they achieve accomplishments or their goals, or they hit those hurdles that they need to get them propelled to the next level, and we have a time to celebrate, we have a time to go out and do things and really incorporate more of a community event or event or an activity that we can do to celebrate their achievements and accomplishments.
So how do you encourage others in their life to have fun?
I tell them that they need to have joy for the journey, because honestly, life has a lot of pressures, a lot of anxiety, stresses, a lot of moments that can really get us down. But we really need to be more optimistic, positive, and take an approach that we can actually take a deep breath. It's going to be all right. Have joy for the journey, and begin to enjoy and appreciate the little things that you go through in order to really celebrate the larger accomplishments.
So what advice could you give someone that might be struggling right now as to how to keep it fun?
If I was going to give any advice or any suggestion to keep it fun, I would encourage them, one, to find their heart core, to find that passion that they're involved in. And it could be in work, it could be outside of work, but they have to have an outlet. So whether it's going out, having a wonderful steak dinner, or if it's a trip, even a stay vacation, if you can just get out. Some of the things that I do, Claire, is I love water. So if I'm by a river, by a lake, by a body of water, I actually can have that fun in my life and just kind of vent a little bit and not allow the pressures to get too much on me.
So tell us a little bit about your business.
My business. I created Relevate, and Relevate is a concept. It's both revelation and elevate. So I noticed when I wanted to elevate to the next level, I always had to have that revealing factor, that enlightening factor, something to show me the clarity, the focus, and the execution that I needed to take my business to the next level. So I created a motivational speaking and a coaching firm that helps people go through a process of vision mapping, finding clarity, understanding focus points, and executing with precision in order to get to a place of mastery in their life.
So if you had a happy dance or a happy stance, what would that be?
Happy stance. When we talk about presence and we talk about being in the moment, so when you get wider, one of the things that I have found myself doing, that I will do my hands and I'll spread my legs just a little bit wider than normal. If I need that confidence, it allows me to breathe. It allows me to have that endorphins released in my mind, and it gives me a little bit more confidence and strength on the inside to allow me to have that happy stance or that joy that I need in my journey.
So remember, your homework this week is to live boldly, live loudly, live proudly. Follow your dream. It is your dream for a reason. That's what you're here to do. Follow your heart. And also remember to follow the fun. I'll see you next time.